Okay, Kieran, thanks for taking the time to talk to Revolution TV about the Datchet tournament from last year and from tomorrow's tournament, which is happening. Last year, it started out with a draw, a 1-1 draw against UCB. Tell us the highlights of that game.
Well, we started off pretty well, actually. I think it was with the first 2 minutes or so. Kenny scored the first goal and we looked like we were going to get rolling. From the outset, I thought we had a good chance of winning the tournament. I didn't actually expect us to win it in the end, but with Kenny's goal, it made us, a bit of belief in ourselves that we could actually go that far. It was just unfortunate a couple of minutes later that I think the ball rolled through the goal after a bit of a deflection, and we ended up drawing the game 1-0. So, getting a point from that game wasn't bad, but we could have started off with 3 points, which would have been a lot more favourable for us.
Sure, no, definitely. Unfortunately, the next game did take a massive dent, losing 2-0 to Hedgerley. Could you take any plus points from that game?
Well, not really, because I remember that it was me. I'll take the blame for that game. We went from 4-4-2 to 4-5-1 because Hedgerley were a Division 1 side then. I stupidly took someone out from the two strikers and put them into midfield. It didn't work. We lost 2-0, and that really dented our chances of progressing through. So, in the end, we went on to our next game, and the rest of the day is history.
And as you say, on to the next game, you changed it back to 4-4-2.
Yeah.
You scrapped the 4-5-1. You done the game against Shooting Stones. You drew 0-0. And again, another draw. So from only 2 games, you've only scored 1 goal. You've let in 3. You've only got 2 points. It's not looking great at this point, is it?
No, it's not. And we could have got another 3 points against Shooting Stains. Jake missed a penalty that we got rewarded for a dive. I think Mitchell will say that it was a dive. But those things happen in football. But Jake missed the penalty. You could have said justice was done. But we ended up drawing that game as well. So, which we ended up with 2 points, scoring 1 goal and conceding 3. So it wasn't a favourable way of getting through. But in the end, we got there, and so.
Anybody looking on from that would have suggested that maybe the next game, knockouts, you've not won yet. Sure, you might be going home, and the next opposition was a team that we've met before, was Hobgoblin Hangover, and it just became this, from there to the next game to the next game, an extraordinary run of golden goals. And we'll talk about the first one with Hobgoblin. 2-1, we won. Talk to us through that game.
Well, that Hobgoblin game, it was good to be in a quarter-finals. But we did go 1-0 down with about 2-3 minutes left, and I thought it was over. I stood there and I was like, we're going home early. Might even be able to catch a bit of a Super Sunday game. But yeah, we went 1-0 down. We were lucky to get a free kick with a couple of seconds to go. Mitchell put an absolutely fantastic ball, put it straight in the mixer as you're meant to do. And in the end, Jake bundled that ball in the net. I think it might have had a bit of help from Callum and everyone else in there, but it doesn't matter what it went in, at least it went in.
More like a rugby try than an actual football goal. Definite team goal there.
So went into extra time, and the golden goal format suited us, and we got a penalty. Lee took it. We had to retake it because of encroachment, but Lee was man enough to stand up again and put that ball straight through the keeper's hands.
Did you think it was encroachment on the original penalty?
No, I didn't. But from where I was standing, you can't really see. But that doesn't really matter at the end of the day because Lee's managed to convert 2 successful penalties. So
it takes a lot of pressure to convert the first one in that sort of stage. But another one is so fantastic. Then move on to the semi-final and against the hosts of the tournament, Datchet. Again, we won by a golden goal, but a lot more tense towards the last couple of minutes of that game. Talk us through what happened as far as...
with Datchet Village on the whole, we have a nice little rivalry against them. We've only beaten them once in the previous year's Datchet tournament. We beat them 1-0 with a James Johnson special with his left foot. But that season we drew 1-1 with them in a friendly, and they had a last minute penalty against us. But in the Datchet tournament, we managed to get a goal from Kenny in golden goal extra time, and everyone was excited to get through. We got to a final, and we weren't playing our best football, but we progressed further as a team in that tournament from the first game, and Kenny got the goal and we got into the final, and everyone was excited, couldn't wait.
Also note from what I remember, fantastic save from Simon Eaton in
the
last minute of that game in normal time.
Yeah, Simon. Simon's been a great addition to this team. He's a great goalkeeper. It's something that we've lacked in previous years, but Simon's a great goalkeeper to have, and that save that he pulled out in the semi-final 1 minute before the end of normal time was definitely helped us.
So on to the final, and after losing, drawing, and then 2 wins on the bounce, momentum is with you. Okay, you've not done it conventionally by 2 golden goals, but you're in the final against WSM Celtic, and a longer game, 15 minutes each way, more time for things to happen. Talk us through how were you feeling at that point, getting to your very first final?
I was excited, a bit nervous, but as it's our first final. But I was excited, but I wanted the team to get out there, because we've been on a good bit of form, 1-2 games in the bounce, and needed to take that into the final. Excited and nervous as well, but I had faith in the lads that I put out there in the starting 11 for that final, and they done the business. So.
After normal time, the score was 1-1. Scored very early in the game through Lee Hunt.
Yeah.
And then they equalised literally with last minute of the game. So the foot was on the other boot after Jake's goal in the previous round.
Yeah.
How did that feel, being on the other end of that kind of last minute goal?
Oh, it wasn't nice. I mean,
and especially in the final as well.
Yeah. Lee scored about 10 minutes into the first half. And it did put us in an unprecedented position with being ahead. We were getting a bit leggy during because of the day's events. We were unlucky to concede a penalty, and they scored from it. But we got there extra time. We've been in 2 extra times before. We scored golden goals before, so that probably would have made us the favourites to carry on and do it. So.
Mm. And then that winning goal came from that man again, Lee Hunt.
Yeah.
Tell us what exactly you were trying feeling at that point.
Well, to be honest, I couldn't think about doing anything that final. I was pacing up and down the sideline. Everything that I could do was out of my hands. Focused on everyone that was on the pitch. I think the ball's dropped out to Mitch, and Mitch has tried having a pot from 25 yards, and it's come off the defender. Ended up at James Anderson, who was playing in at right back, covering for his brother who went off for cramp. James has just shifted that ball on his left foot, crossed that ball, great cross with his left foot, straight into Lee's in space. He's just got the presence of mind just to tap that in past the goalkeeper, and the footage will show everyone went mad. Everyone chased Lee off to the opposite pitch. Mitchell at the first there, and everyone was happy, everyone was delirious, and
total pandemonium.
Total pandemonium, yeah.
Total pandemonium.
It was something that I've watched over and over again since then, and especially this weekend as well, since we're back in the tournament tomorrow, and so yeah.
And on to tomorrow, we're going. Obviously, there's defending champions. In respect from last year's tournament, which was a shortened tournament because other teams pulled out, this is going to be a longer format, which we did 2 years ago. How do you think, first of all, we will deal with the longer format, and then the difference in squads from last year to this year?
Yeah, the longer format's going to be more difficult. We will be playing 5 group games, and we've got to finish in the top 2. But we have a stronger squad than we did last year. We've made some good additions to the side. People coming back in. People are definitely stronger and learned a lot since last year from our League Shield final victory and the whole season from last year as well. So we've got a stronger squad. The aim is to win it again. I don't think that's any harder. It's not going to be against us, but it's going to be more difficult because there'll be other stronger teams as well. But the aim is this year to retain it. Defending champions. You can be marked on how good a champions you are. You've won it once, but to be the best, you've got to retain what you've had before. And if we can retain the Atlantic Celtic Trophy, that'll show that how good we are as a team.
And if you don't get that flying start that, obviously everybody wants, that first game with that win under your belt, because obviously from last year's form wasn't a very good start, will that worry you? Or will you think, you know what, last year this happened and, look what happened?
I think it'll be worrying to an extent, but, everyone here at Revo's got the presence of mind to know that they can come back from going 1-0 down or, losing the first game or something like that. We're done in the League Shield final with Pinckney's Green, so we've got the presence of mind to get a bit of form going and get it from there. I mean, hopefully, ideally, we'll get 3 victories out of 5, and that'll put us through. So that's the ideal world, but we know it's not going to be that easy. And as long as we get through those group stages, we put ourselves in a good position to get to the final again.
Excellent. Well, good luck for tomorrow, Kieran, and thank you for taking the time out to have this interview with Revolution TV in HD. Thank you very much.
Cheers.